Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 494. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today we got Kevin Rickshaw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, hello.
This week on the show we got two reviews lined up for you with David Fincher's The Kiler and the comedy Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. We'll also be going over some we're watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. If you could, please remember to review us on iTunes. That'd be great. New Say by the 90s should be dropping very soon. I'm working on the edit for that, so I hope to have that done very soon. The topic this month is Sean Bean. So we talk about 4 Sean Bean movies, and he survives in 2 of those 4 movies. So
get out of here.
Yeah, he makes it through 2 of the 4. So that can probably narrow down your guesses as to which are two of them, because he dies in most of his movies. But yeah, 2 of them he survives. So it's a really fun episode. Stay tuned for that. Let's jump into our first review. Why don't we start with the comedy?
Classic double bill.
Yeah. Yeah. Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. This is directed by Paul Briganti. I have a synopsis here. It follows 3 friends who live together. When they realize that they don't like their life trajectory, they set off to find a gold treasure that is rumored to be buried in the nearby mountain. Okay. This is on Peacock right now, so if you have Peacock, you can check it out there. Now, Kevin, what's your familiarity with Please Don't Destroy? Are you familiar with these guys?
I have no idea who these guys are.
Oh, okay. Well, they're on SNL. So they do shorts. They have short films on SNL.
Gotcha.
And their shorts are incredibly funny, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
Now, this feels... Now that I said that they're involved with SNL, does that sort of inform you as to the vibe of this movie? Because to me, this movie feels like a very SNL type of movie.
Yes. I can see it now. Like, it makes a little more sense. I'm also, like, I don't know how much I believe you when you say that their short films are, like, very funny.
Yeah.
This is my first introduction to them, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I believe you, Adam.
It's one of those classic things where, when you have a story that you have a beginning, middle, and an end, and you cram it all into like 3 minutes, you can do a lot more there than having to stretch your story out over an hour and a half, because this movie is it's a mess, man. Like, it is just, I think it starts off promising. Like, I think it starts off pretty funny, but it just goes downhill pretty hard. And like once the cult gets involved and stuff, it's just like, it's such a drag, man. Like, it is just such a drag.
Yeah, I tapped out there. I had no idea going into this. You know, like I said, I don't know who the hell Please Don't Destroy. I didn't even realize that was like the name of their like comedy troupe. I thought, like, that's a weird title for a movie. That makes no sense.
I saw someone describe them as the Gen Z Lonely Island.
I could see that. And I gotta say, I did not like any of their singing. Like, none of the songs were funny.
Oh, God,
like, they're not funny songs. I don't understand why you're singing so much when it's not funny. Also, the dancing is not funny, really. A lot of it wasn't funny. But I recognized them as attempts at humor, though. So there's that. Because
you acknowledge that they were trying to be funny.
Yeah, we've talked about that with other comedies sometimes, where I'm like, I don't even know if these are like attempts at humor. You know what I mean? But I know that they were trying for that a lot. It did make me chuckle once in a while, but It's just too much like they just insisted on not only a plot, but like multiple plots. Like they just kept cramming plot in. And it was like, you don't have to do that with comedies. You can keep it super simple and just goof off.
Yeah. The reason that I wanted to see this, aside from enjoying the shorts that they've made on SNL, I saw the trailer for this and I thought it was really funny. Like the trailer made me laugh quite a bit. And unfortunately, I feel like some of the funniest moments are in the trailer. Like the interaction with Conan, the first one where he's like, "Were you eating an ice? Did you stop to get an ice cream or a snow cone?" Like that whole interaction at the beginning, I thought was really funny. And I gotta say, like I was just disappointed in that, like the way that it's set up. I kind of thought that it was going to be like a spoof of Stand By Me or something, like a funny Stand By Me or a funnier Stand By Me, and it doesn't really turn out to be like that. Like there's like several set pieces here that just don't work and are not very funny at all, and it just meanders too much. It just loses steam so early, like the flight suit stuff and all of that. Like there were still moments that definitely made me chortle. I was chuckling, I was chortling. There were a couple hearty laughs here and there. And I wouldn't say hearty, but like definitely solid laughs. The bird call I thought was really funny. I liked the running gag of the bird call. And then I also like the fact that if they had $100 million, they would go to London and see Fat Joe.
Yes.
And I love the 2 words, Fat Joe. So, I mean, it's not like it was completely devoid of humor. I just think
there's chuckles in there.
I just think that the ratio was not quite there for me. I still like this trio. I think that they are talented. I think they are funny, but this movie just didn't necessarily work for me. I think that this could be one of these cult movies, though. You know, like Hot Rod, or like one of those movies where, you know, when it first comes out, doesn't really gather that much steam, but as time goes on, people start to have a greater fondness for it. I could see that happening with this movie.
I could see it happen, and I would also see myself struggling to understand why.
Yeah, I mean,
like I at least understand like Hot Rod in those, because I'm like, yeah, it's kind of dumb. That's fun. This to me, this needed to be dumber.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was pretty dumb, but yeah, I agree. It did need to be dumber. There was a little bit too much structure going on, and
yeah,
again, all the stuff with the cult, man. Like, none of that worked. Like, I didn't think it was funny at all.
No. It really just, I mean, the wind in the sails was already starting to die down, and then the cult thing introduces itself, and oof.
I feel like it needed like 2 or 3 more set pieces that really kind of were more like centerpieces of it, like to help with the kind of adventure aspect of it. Because like most of the stuff, like after they actually go on their journey, which is the bulk of the movie, it's just there's just not a lot there. Like the 2 park rangers that are trying to steal the treasure and stuff like that felt extraneous and didn't really add much humor to it. Again, it was just it felt messy, it felt overly long, it felt a little padded. And I think that these guys are very good at short form comedy, but I think that their first foray into long form like this just didn't quite work. I think that they have some things to work on.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go ahead and give it a score. I'm at like a 4 on this one.
I think I'm going to agree with you. The one last thing that I'll point out, because I just remembered it, I always forget to say the things that I think of. I don't like. There's a certain like comedic trope that I really can't stand. It's just, and especially when it's like a group of people. It's like when something happens and then they just are like, oh, they just like cry out,
Mm-hmm.
and they do that like incessantly throughout this movie. And I don't like. Is that supposed to be funny? Like, why are we doing that all the time?
The like kind of reaction
Yeah, just
shots,
everyone going, oh,
like when he turned into a kite.
yeah. Stop. Like, just stop doing it. It hasn't
Yeah.
been funny ever. I don't
No.
think.
Not really. No. All right. That's The Treasure of Foggy Mountain. Again, if you have Peacock, you can check it out on there. Let's move on and talk about The Kiler. This is on Netflix. This is the new David Fincher film. After a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. I think it's personal.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely personal. Kevin, what were your impressions of The Kiler?
This isn't funny
No.
at all.
No. There are a couple little
Yeah. There's a couple little chuckles
things.
in that.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it did give Please Don't Destroy a run for its money, I guess, if I think about it. That's not good. I will say, and this isn't that like an intelligent thought, really, but I found this boring as shit.
Well, it's extremely dry. I think most people would agree that it is very dry. I mean, the way that it kicks off with that opening where it shows like his process and all of that, I think, maybe not the best way to start, but I think it does set the stage. It lets you know right out of the gate that this isn't your kind of typical like action thriller or anything like that. Although there is some really solid action in it.
Yeah, there's I mean, I would say there's one good action sequence in it.
Yeah.
But I felt, to me, like, it's dry. That was like one of the funniest things to me was the opening, because it's so much about like his process and him doing his stretching and all that. And then it ultimately ends with him being shit at being a hitman.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking sucks. I'm sorry. Like, he's not good at this. It's insane. And then it's like, he goes on this massive manhunt to track down, like, two people? But to me, it just felt so derivative. Like, I've seen, like, how many fucking Hitman movies are we going to have? And especially like this, where it's like, the employer's like, oh, you're done. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to get you.
Yep. Yeah. Certainly. We've seen movies like this before. I think that being said, I think that this is still a really well-made version of that. I mean, this is based on a graphic novel, and I think, the cinematography is great. I loved the score, the Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross score. There's a lot that I liked about this movie. It's not my top Fincher movie or anything like that, but I still had a really good time with it. I liked that it was dry. I didn't find it boring. I enjoyed it overall. It didn't blow me away, but I still had a pretty good time with it.
All right. I mean, I wouldn't say that I had a good time with it, but I also didn't hate my time with it, if that makes sense. This was a birthday present to myself. I signed up for Netflix to watch this.
Oh, nice.
So there's a little sting. There's a sting,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit, this was supposed to be cool. And it wasn't. Like, this is my birthday, Fincher.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing. It was really disappointing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't like it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
I liked it. I thought it was.
I didn't hate it either.
I don't know
Just
that
thought
this
it
would necessarily.
reductive.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to go in my top 10 of the year or anything like that. I think it was just pretty solid. It's funny, like I watched this. I'm like almost 10 days removed now. Came out on the 10th. I think I watched it on the 10th, which was your birthday.
Thank you.
And like it's already fading. Like I'm only 9 days removed from it as of this recording, and I'm already struggling to like recall specific opinions on it. Like I didn't take notes on this or anything. We weren't really planning on even reviewing this, but since we both saw it, you know,
it's like, yeah, we got to talk about it. It's the Fincher, you know?
Yeah.
Got to talk about it. It's the killer. I just thought, like, honestly, to me, the saving grace of this movie is everything that takes place in Florida. If that Florida aspect of it, you know, that chunk is taken out, oof. Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the Florida scene. I liked I pretty much liked everything. There wasn't. I don't have a lot of criticisms with this movie, but then again, I'm not like gushing over it either. Like,
yeah.
I think it looked solid. Like trying to think back of my viewing experience. Like there's not any kind of like specific shots or camera work that I can recall aside from the that one action scene that is insanely well choreographed. But yeah, like I actually don't have much to say about it. Oddly, I thought that Foggy Mountain was going to be the one that I just kind of drew a blank on, but turns out I have less to say about the killer. I like the poster. It's a cool poster. I'm not familiar with the graphic novel either, so I'm not sure like how the adaptation was done. I think it was a French graphic novel.
There you go. That'll make sense now.
Very stylish. You know, I think
Is it?
I think it's pretty stylish. Yeah. What did you think about? There was a lot of narration.
It was narration, which I don't consider stylish.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not counting that as part of the style. I'm just. I know that you don't like narration and voiceover. Nor do I.
Okay.
But
like in this sense, to me, this makes sense because it's a guy on his own. You know,
right?
So it makes sense.
Can you imagine that opening sequence with no narration?
See, that would be ballsy to me, though.
It'd be very ballsy. It'd be like, what, 20 plus minutes of silence?
But I do have to say that, I did enjoy that because there's so much of that buildup where you're just like, damn, this guy's just fucking locked in. This guy knows exactly how to be a hitman.
Yeah, he's like watching that heart rate, getting that heart rate down.
Everything. And then he's shooting someone for like a block away. And he fucks it up, and you're just like,
well,
what?
And the funny thing was, it wasn't even like, I thought it was going to be something like, oh, like a, I don't know, like a fucking bird flew in front of the bullet.
Like a Randy Johnson situation.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be something crazy that like he just had no control over, that just blindsided him. But no, it's just like somebody casually walking in front of the target. I mean, it was like it was just such a fumble, man. Like, it was pathetic.
True, yeah, it truly was. And it's just funny too, like the one sequence where it's like they reveal something like after he finishes a job, and they're like, "Ooh, so close," and it's like, well, yeah, like just shoot them. Like, don't do any of the stuff. Just shoot them. Move on with your life. Stop talking to people and engaging them. Just shoot them and move on. Killer.
Yep. All right, well, that's The Killer on Netflix. I think it's still worth a look, and I still enjoyed it. So
it's definitely worth a look if you're paying for Netflix, because now that I signed up for Netflix and I'm like scrolling through, not a lot on there. So take advantage.
Nah.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah, I probably would have got rid of Netflix if I didn't get it through my phone plan. But all right, so that is The Killer. Let's give it a score. I'm at like a 7.5 on this one.
Okay. I just pulled it up. Originally gave this a 6, but now that I'm a couple of days removed from it and we're talking about it, I'm dropping that down to a 5. 5er.
Give it the old 5er. Okay. All right.
Give it a 5.
I'm okay with that. Like with some Fincher stuff, I'm like very, very protective. Like some movies, some of his movies, some just movies in general, I'm like really protective of some movies. But like this one, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I can see a 5. Like I can totally see that.
Good. Glad.
All right, let's move on and talk about some of what we've been watching. I think it's my turn this week. I saw Outlaw Johnny Black, directed by Michael Jai White, finally. This movie, I feel like, has been in the works for years, at least 5 years. As I think it was like a Kickstarter way back in the day. And I think that I don't know, man, if they had trouble, like production trouble, distribution, I don't know what happened, but it just took forever for this movie to come out. Well, it's finally out, and I got to say I'm a little bit disappointed. I was a huge fan of Black Dynamite. I thought it was hilarious. I love the look. I feel like they absolutely nailed the blaxploitation aesthetic and the music and everything. I thought it was so funny. And I was kind of hoping the same thing, because that's how this is presented. It's like a 70s Western that has a lot of these like kind of blaxploitation elements to it. And like it's kind of funny. Like Michael Jai White and his character in this is very funny. But the problem is, like, he's not the only thing in the movie. There's a lot more in this movie, and everything else kind of brings it down. Specifically, like, the runtime, man. This is like 130 minutes, way too long. They could have easily trimmed probably 20 minutes off of this, and I think it would have been a lot tighter of a plot. And I think it probably would have just worked a lot better. It becomes a little long in the tooth. That's not to say I didn't find it to be entertaining. I just think that a lot of it was like, a lot of the comedy was just straight up miss. And like some of it, like you were talking about where you're not sure if it was supposed to be funny or not. That's this movie. Like there's a lot of stuff in this movie where I'm just like, is it supposed to be funny? Or like, I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to laugh or if it's just supposed to be whatever. So yeah, a little disappointed with it, but it is still, there are definitely some really funny parts, but man, just, it was like they just barely missed the execution on this.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I think this is what I actually watched on my birthday, which is the movie Happy Birthday to Me from 1981. And this is on Tubi. That's how I like to spend my birthday. It's a special day. Calls for a special streaming service, Tubi TV. This movie is a fucking mess, but in a good way, because it's a slasher movie, a bunch of people dying in crazy ways. You have no idea like who the killer is. You have some ideas. You got some misdirections and stuff going on, but man, the explanation for how all of this goes down gets so goddamn convoluted towards the end, and you're like, wow, this is just, there's a lot going on. It's a mess. None of it makes sense. And then there's like an extra twist on top of that, where you're just like, well, now it's, even the parts that didn't make sense don't make sense either. It's just, it's even that worse. But at the same time, it's fucking awesome. Because it's a good time. It's what you want. It's these kids that go to a private school. Virginia, she's friends with all these rich kids. But you can tell that there's something a little bit off. And then that's like what plays out throughout the movie. Because each one of these rich kids keeps like dying. Like as the days go on, another rich kid gets offed. And you're like, uh-oh. And start pointing at Virginia. And then it becomes like weird, like repressed memory type stuff. and just absolute insanity. The only thing that that Tubi can deliver to you on your birthday. So I highly suggest Happy Birthday to Me. I had fun with the guy gets killed with a skewer. They leave.
I mean, that's the cover, so
That's the cover. And she's like, they're at a dance or whatever, and she's like, well, let's go back to my place. I make great midnight snacks. And I'm like, damn, okay. What kind of snacks is she making? He's out on like the bearskin rug in front of the fire. She walks out with kebabs. Are you kidding me? Who's making kebabs at midnight?
As a snack.
Like, she delivered, though, because she said, I make great midnight snacks. I was not thinking kebabs. She walked out with kebabs, and I was like, she undersold herself.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I can't believe I never saw this. I feel like I have.
Dude,
I definitely.
You're going to love this, dude. You're going to love it.
Yeah, I'm sure that this is... I remember this cover. I remember seeing this cover like a million times, but I don't know. All right, I saw Susie Searches. This is directed by Sophie Cargman. This is a dark comedy with Kiersey Clemons and Alex Wolff. So Kiersey Clemons plays this kind of nerdy girl who is she's obsessed with true crime, and she hosts this true crime podcast. And there's a kind of a big deal situation happening in her town where one of her classmates goes missing, and he's missing for like, I don't know, a week or two. And this guy's like a big social media influencer guy. He's got like millions of followers and whatever. So it becomes kind of like a national deal. And Kiersey Clemons' character, she's like, you know what? This is going to be the subject of my podcast, and I'm gonna figure out where he is. I'm gonna try to find him. And she does find him, and she becomes kind of famous as a result. But turns out Susie has some secrets that she's trying to keep hidden, and things begin to happen that put her secrets in danger of getting out, and she has to go to some pretty drastic lengths at keeping her secrets safe. So pretty fun. I enjoyed this one. I was kind of expecting it to have more of a mystery element, but it doesn't. Not really, at least. But Alex Wolff's good in this. Kiersey Clemons good in this. She's definitely a type of character that I haven't seen her play before. I liked the humor. It was definitely on the darker side, which I think is a good thing. We don't get a lot of dark comedies these days, I feel. And yeah, so I give it a light recommend. It's on Hulu. You can check it out there.
Okay. We don't get much comedies anymore.
No.
Nowadays.
No.
I guess it's about time to steer this in a completely different direction. And that's, I watched Scott of the Antarctic from 1948, directed by Charles Frand, with no I in that last name. So this is on Tubi. Me and my wife watched this because she's obsessed with the Robert Scott's trek to be the first to discover the South Pole. She like reads everything that could be ever about it. So she found this. We didn't know that this movie was from 1948. Judging by the cover on Letterboxd, kind of looks like a documentary, which is what we thought it was going in. But turns out it's an old British movie from 1948. So we were like, oh shit, well, how's this going to play out? Them trying to march to the South Pole and take them forever. And they all die. So how's this? This is going to be interesting to see in 1948 how they pull this off. And I gotta say, I was pretty impressed. Like, they pretty much pulled it off. This looks really good for 1948. Like, they sold it. It looks like they're in the South Pole. And they look like they are not having a good time. They're having the worst time. And you know that because they all die.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a very good time.
No, this is a terrible time, and it's a stupid idea. because it's just more ice. Whoop-de-doo, you made it. But it's funny that on Letterboxd, the synopsis is, they're talking about they're trying to get to the first man to discover the South Pole, only to find that the murderous cold weather and a rival team of Norwegian explorers conspire against them. A, cold weather can't be murderous. It just exists. You're the ones that died. B, the Norwegian explorers didn't really conspire against him. They were just like, yeah, we'll do it too. And they beat him. They beat him there because they knew what they were doing. But it's wild that people used to do this. Just go to the South Pole, or try to.
I love stories about early explorers. I just think they're always the stories are always insane.
Dude, it's absolutely batshit insane because it took them all year.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous, especially to be watching in 2023 where you're just like, why are you doing this?
Because they could. I was going to say because they could, but
I mean, they did get clearly there, but then the Norwegians already got there. It's just they died trying to come back, which is okay. Norwegians didn't die though; they made it. They got all the glory. But it's also just weird. If you're a Brit going up against some Norwegians, I think just let the Norwegians do it. They're probably they have a better idea of what needs to be done.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That is Scott of the Antarctic from 1948. I saw Where the Devil Roams. This is the new one from Toby Poser and John Adams. They're the family.
What?
The family.
Oh, this is the people. They're the family that did Hellbender?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hellbender and what the hell was the other one?
It's something.
The Deeper You Dig. The Deeper You Dig.
I was about to say the Digger You Deep.
The Digger You Deep. I kind of wish it was called that. So this is probably their most ambitious film yet. It's still very DIY. It's still got a very lo-fi aesthetic, but it takes place after World War I, and it follows a family of circus performers. And,
oh my God.
Yeah, and it's husband, wife, daughter, played by the Addams family. So if you're familiar with their other movies, Hellbender, the other ones, it's the same people. The performances in this are not very good, but that's, I think, to be expected. What this movie does have is really striking visuals. I mean, it's definitely a little messy when it comes to the visuals, but because it a little randomly turn into this kind of like a black and white old film kind of talkie style movie where they're trying to make it look very old, but it still kind of looks new. But all of the other cinematography looks quite good. I mean, again, the quality in this one is much higher than their other movies. The effects in this one too, a lot more going on effects work wise in this one, and the gore effects and makeup. This is a very violent movie, and it looks really good. I mean, disturbingly real. So big props to them for that. They did an incredible job. Where I believe that it definitely falls short is just the story. It's not very interesting. It definitely drags at times. It is this kind of pseudo surrealist thing where there are extended sequences of people talking about Bible verses, and there's these long musical kind of interludes that happen, And it's a little rough at times. It's not very enjoyable to watch this movie. I did not really enjoy myself with it at all.
That's a bummer. Because as soon as I read the synopsis, I was like, please tell me that this is good.
It's not very good, unfortunately. Now, I mean, it might work for you. Like it might hit all the right notes for you. I just didn't think that there was quite enough substance here. Basically, what it is this mother, father, daughter. They're going from town to town on the carnival circuit, and something happens where, basically some dark magic needs to be used to keep the parents alive, and as a result, they have to go around and basically murder families and chop off their limbs and take their body parts.
Yeah.
So there's, a pretty solid amount of dismemberment happening in this movie. And again, it looks very real. There's a couple like interesting war flashbacks too. So there's like there's like some war sequences in this from World War One, and those are quite well shot too. Like again, visuals. I mean, I'm sure that they probably weren't working with a huge budget on this or anything. And like their other movies, like the visuals are just really on point, like really good. So yeah, I can't really recommend it because I didn't like the story. I didn't find it to be very entertaining, but I still am very curious to see what these filmmakers do next, because I think that even though this one didn't work for me, I think that the story itself was, what was here was at least somewhat interesting. I'm not sure it actually worked for like a 93-minute feature length film. And this also, when I watched this, so this is on VOD, but it said to be original or something like that at the beginning. So I don't know if Tubi helped fund this movie or what, but Tubi has some kind of involvement with it.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Tubi got their hands in all sorts of pots, man.
It's crazy.
Fucking nuts. The only other thing that I want to mention here is, trying to get my money's worth out of that Netflix account. I checked out Synchronic on there. The Moorhead Benson.
Oh yeah.
I kind of forgot about this movie until I popped up as I was spending 40 minutes scrolling through movies on Netflix that all have that red N on there, because it seems like that's the only thing that's left on Netflix.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's a dire situation. But watched Synchronic the other night, and for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think it's just a great idea, and I thought the execution of it, although at times some of the visuals are a little iffy. It's like they tried to go too big and they just didn't have the budget for it, or just the ability to make it happen. So some of it looks a little off, but like overall the execution of it I thought was pretty stellar. The only thing that bummed me out a little bit is once Anthony Mackie's character kind of like realizes what's going on, or he starts doing like his experiments, like the intrigue and the mystery just kind of like just vanished. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, well, now you're showing me like all the inner workings, and it's not, up until that point, it was just like, oh shit, where's this gonna go? Like, this is kind of interesting, and then it just kind of dried out a little bit. But like, it was still for the most part interesting. I felt like it could have just been so much more.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I liked it. I didn't think it was anywhere close to their other films, but
no, and it, like, I don't know about you, but it almost felt because they always have that where they have this like really interesting like narrative and like, oh, how are they going to make this work? Where here it felt like they got like halfway through it and they're like, yeah, we don't feel like making it work. Like we're just going to take the easy way out. Like if you sit here, you take the drug, you go somewhere else. Okay, there you go.
I feel like, I mean, this was definitely, as far as their movies, this I think was probably their biggest one. Definitely, like budget wise, just scope wise.
Yeah.
They did do Moon Knight for Marvel, but that was the show.
Just slightly disappointed. Just slightly.
Yeah. Let's see. I saw Kokomo City. This is a documentary. Came out recently. It's directed by D. Smith. This is about. It's a documentary about trans black sex workers that who live in Atlanta and New York. So it has like a couple people in Atlanta, a couple people in New York, and it's a very stripped down documentary. We just hear stories from them. Like they just tell different stories. They tell the story of their lives. They tell this interesting stories about like what it's like, you know, being a sex worker and trans and black in these specific neighborhoods that they work in. Like the general sentiment about like how people feel about them, how they're treated in society, all of that stuff. And it's sort of like, to me, it feels almost like a time capsule piece where like there's certain documentaries that capture a place and time and a subject. And I feel like that this is one that people will be referring back to like years and years from now. I think this is one that'll like end up on Criterion, basically.
Gotcha.
This is like, I feel like this is just destined for Criterion because it does. D. Smith does such a good job of just capturing this very specific subject matter, place, time, all of that stuff. And, you know, it's shot gorgeously in black and white. There's these like little kind of like title cards and stuff, like these little like animation type things that accentuate it. It's just really, really good. The people who she gets to be the subjects in the film are incredibly interesting people. All of them have really endearing stories. It's not like, the interesting thing about it is you inherently think like, oh my God, this is going to be such a downer because of like just the horrible shit that they're probably dealing with on a daily basis, coming at them from multiple angles. You know, like not only are they a minority to begin with, but they're a minority of a minority, being that they're trans and black. And then most of them are working in kind of like low income areas and have like kind of like rough clients and stuff. But like, it's actually kind of surprisingly positive. A lot of the people, because they don't just interview the sex workers, they interview people who like the one guy is his girlfriend is one of the main subjects, and then they interview this guy who he's like he's like a music producer in Atlanta, and he starts dating a trans woman, and then they just will interview like kind of random dudes on the streets and stuff. And the level of like tolerance I thought was really surprising. And I don't know if that it marks like a cultural shift that's happening. I hope so. But it was just, I thought that was kind of surprising. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Kokomo City. Check it out.
Okay. Interesting.
Really solid documentary.
That's all I got.
I'll mention one other one very quickly, just because we were just talking about comedies. I feel like this episode, I watched No Hard Feelings, which is the it's directed by Gene Stupnitsky, and this is the one with Jennifer Lawrence, where she's like kind of down on her luck. It takes place in Montauk, and she lives in her childhood home, and she's about to lose her house because she can't afford to pay the taxes because all these rich people keep moving in and raising the property value of the area. So she's getting like priced out of her own house. And one of these this rich family, they hire her to date and have sex with their son before he goes off to college, because it turns out that he's like just really awkward and doesn't have a lot of friends and stuff. So they hire her to sleep with him, and a lot of goofy, crazy stuff happens. Lots of goofing here. Jennifer Lawrence is great in it. She is like really, really funny in this. I thought her character was just so good. She was the best part. Everything else was whatever. The overall story beats, you can see everything happening a mile away. It's your pretty standard romantic comedy. So it's easy to predict where it's going to go and how it's going to end, but it's all about the journey. And there's a lot of really funny moments in this. I'm sure that one thing that a lot of people have talked about is there's a scene where she convinces him to go skinny dipping with her, and then these like kids come and try to steal their clothes, and she runs out of the ocean fully naked and beats the shit out of these three kids, and they just full on, like, Jennifer Lawrence just goes for it, and she's like fully naked, full frontal, but it's not like sexy. It's like she's beating the shit out of these kids, and it's so funny. So yeah, I give it a light recommend, and you know what? It's on Netflix. So while you have your little Netflix subscription there, you might want to check out check out No Hard Feelings. It's good for a couple light laughs. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Napoleon is one of the biggies. What's your interest level in Napoleon?
Very minimal.
Yeah, same here. It has a lot of hype, obviously. A lot of people are excited about it. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm just not.
That coupled with the fact that, like, I've never been interested in Napoleon, like, as a historical figure.
Yeah, same.
Like, I've never cared about the guy.
No, same. I mean, I'm sure the movie's great and everything, but and I'm sure that I'll probably watch it, but I just am not really that into it. Also, hitting theaters is the new Disney movie Wish, which I could also care less about. Could not care less about Wish.
No, thank you.
I don't even think I've seen a trailer for it.
I've never even heard of it. This is the first time I've heard of it.
Disney's just fallen off so hard for me.
Wish.
All right. On VOD this week, we got Do Not Disturb. You're All Gonna Die. We got Pig Killer.
Pig Killer?
Pig Killer.
What?
Yeah, it looks like probably a slasher movie judging from the cover. Reset. That looks like an environmental doc. Could be wrong, but again, judging from the cover. Let's see. The Human Trap. It looks like a human hunting movie.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's South Korean. Probably check that out. Looks like it could be fun. Liberty. I Have the Right to Revolt. The hell is that? I don't even want to know. Oh, you know what? I don't even want to know.
I'm looking it up.
Liberty. On the 24th, we have Do Justice. And looks like that's pretty much it. Probably a light week because of the holidays.
Yeah.
Netflix. Let's see. We got Stamped from the Beginning. That is coming out on the 20th. So by the time you hear this, it'll be out. We got Leo. That looks like an animated one. That's on the 21st. On the 24th, we have Elena Knows. Also on the 24th, we have Last Call for Istanbul. Looks like a rom-com. Or maybe just a rom. And then, yeah, it looks like that's about it for the old Netflix as well.
All right.
Very light week. Very light week.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on.
Nope. On Blu-ray this week, we got Oppenheimer coming out. Got The Fugitive coming out in 4K. Saw 10. Let's see. Police Academy. There's a box set coming out. All of them. 84 to 94.
Every single one in one box set.
Well, I'm assuming it's all of them. I don't actually know how many Police Academy movies there are, but this is 7 of them. With the last one being Mission to Moscow from 1994, which I'm pretty sure was the last one.
Yeah, they took down those Russians.
I need to do a Police Academy marathon. I know that they're like pretty bad after like the first 2, but I want to revisit that series. I used to be such a huge fan of Police Academy.
Hell yeah. What they play on? Was that Comedy Central that they were always on?
I think so.
Like during the summer?
Yeah. I just
loved it.
Yeah. I think there was a Police Academy cartoon for a while too that I really liked. Expendables is coming out.
Expendables.
Let's see what else we have here. The Scarlet Letter from 1934. The Eight Mountains from 2022. Tori and Lakita from 2022. Looks like Train to Busan and Peninsula. It's like a 2 movie pack that's coming out. Mr. Organ from 2022. I didn't talk about Mr. Organ on the show, but it's a really interesting documentary that I would recommend checking out. The Jester, Ninja versus Shark. And before you get excited, it's from 2023, so it's probably just garbage. Not like a fun bad. Navy SEALs from 1990. Still never saw that. I need to. What about Criterion's?
Man, we got so many. But it looks like 3 of them aren't technically Criterion's. You know, they don't have the little thing on the side. But that's one you already mentioned, Tori and Lakita. The Eight Mountains, Godland. But the 2, like, I guess, real deal Criterion's are Scorsese's Mean Streets.
Oh, yeah.
And Claude Chambrol's La Ceremony. It's got 5. You got 5 to choose from.
You know what? I don't think I ever saw Mean Streets.
Hey, I have, and it's
Is it?
It's just it's like, I think if I remember correctly, Harvey Keitel owes people money, and it's just people yelling at him saying, "Hey, you owe me money," and it's like that for like an hour and a half.
That's unfortunate. All right, cool. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net, and if you could, take a minute to review us on iTunes, that'd be great. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.